The prolific John Stones. Rodri, maybe a shooting chance, tries it, scores! Rodri with an absolute peach!
Kevin De Bruyne! Manchester City take the lead!
Welcome to Pitchside. It is Manchester City's second match of their pre-season tour of Asia. Just 48 hours on from the Blues' 5-3 victory over Yokohama, and the Blues are still in Tokyo ahead of tomorrow's game. That game is against the reigning Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich, and who can ever forget that Champions League quarter-final against Bayern Munich at the Etihad Stadium last season. Rodri's goal that you've just seen in the introduction there was an absolute cracker and one not to forget. We are going to hear from Ruben Dias and Pep Guardiola shortly in their pre-match press conferences. We're also going to be inside the Japanese National Stadium in Tokyo with FG, who's alongside Joleon, Lescott and Shaun Wright-Phillips. But here in the studio with me, two Steves, Stephen McInerney and Big Steve as well. Gents, good morning. Let's start where we left off. Then that Yokohama game, 5-3 game. Big Steve, what a game it was as well. Plenty of goals. What did you make of it?
Yeah, good workout. I thought totally different sides, both halves. Good to see everybody get minutes on the pitch, especially the young lads as well. Kovacic debut. Got a bit scary at 2-0 down, wondering what was going on. But no, we soon turned it round, got into our rhythm, and we got the result in the end, so I was happy.
And they turned it round, started with John Stones to get it back 2-1. A fine finish from a man who's had a brilliant season. I know we spoke a lot about him the other day, but he started the comeback and it's just a lovely composed finish.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That's something we might see a lot more of as well this coming season. Stones in a really advanced role, but wonderful goal all around. And I know defensively City weren't at the very best, but there were already signs of some beautiful attacking football, and you can see that City DNA. It's just present, even if they've been off for a few weeks. And it was lovely football, of course, as well when we worked over to the right-hand side. And I think Cole Palmer chose the right time to release the ball perfectly. Kyle Walker on the overlap with that pace, cut back, and Alvarez just so aware always. And Stones, that's not an easy finish, but he made it look so simple. Yeah,
cultured finish.
That's a striker's finish. I mean, Alvarez or Haaland would have been buzzing with that, and he's just walking about like nothing's happened. But that's Stones these days, playing with so much confidence, and a man at the peak of his form at the Champions League final. It looks like he's carried on.
Would you rather John Stones in defence or John Stones in midfield right now?
Why not everywhere, mate? Why not everywhere? Because it shows he can do it. I mean, we were talking as well in the previous show about how Stones, he showed that dribbling that he's got to his game in the Champions League final, and he took it on again. He was gliding past people for fun.
Yeah, no, Stones. Yeah, like Stephen said, I think we're going to see more of him in that role, just popping up late in the box. Also, like Gundogan coming in late, scoring the goals.
But it was
it was a cultured finish from John. Like we said there, Cole Palmer made the right decision. Walker on the overlap and Alvarez. But Stones at the minute, there's nothing this man can't do.
Also want to talk about the man just over my shoulder, Kovacic, getting his first chance in a Manchester City side after his move from Chelsea. Within the first 8 minutes, couple of chances getting forward on the left, looked active, looked like he wanted to have a roll and fitted in nicely with this Manchester City side. Yeah,
he looked like he'd been there for a while, you know what I mean? He didn't look out of place. He's obviously going to be nervous, his first game. It's a new role for him at Manchester City. But no, he looked okay. It was as good as debut as you can get, really, you know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow.
Yeah, you can already see, even though there are obviously areas for him to improve, you can already see that he's a willing learner, that he has the intelligence to adapt to a new role. And it is a new role. He played a lot deeper at Chelsea, more of a number 6, kind of receiving the ball. But there was times when he was getting into that classic Gundogan position of sort of drifting just off the strike as a left-sided 8. And obviously, the chemistry will improve the more they do that. But you can tell he's been taking in the lessons from Guardiola. I've got no doubt whatsoever that he's got the intelligence to pick up really quickly.
Let's have a look at the second goal, the one that got City level, 2-2. Alvarez getting it, but the press came from Calvin Phillips, which really impressed me.
No, yeah, we spoke last time about Calvin, saying this is a season for him to stand out. And yeah, if you look at the goal, he puts pressure on the goalkeeper there. Goalkeeper's not expecting that kind of pressure. And a great finish from Alvarez. I mean, City pressed them in here, and like you say, they forced them into a mistake. But Calvin Phillips again had a good first half, worked really hard in that midfield, and it was great to see him getting involved in the goals.
It's not much, obviously, because it's only a pre-season game, but those little moments, they do make you feel more involved. And as a midfielder, you want to be involved in goals. And even if it's just winning the ball high up the pitch or something like that. Phillips is always known for his high energy, high intensity game at Leeds. We didn't always see that last season. Hopefully, he's come back in real good form and real confidence. And that, that goal doesn't happen without him. And that's got to be a boost for him.
Let's just look at a couple of academy lads, because we're going to look at the second half in a moment. But before we do, let's stay with the first half of that 5-3 victory. Cole Palmer got the first 45 minutes, probably the freshest of all the players, having played in the under-21 Euros, which he won with England. But on that right-hand side, looked good. I
really like Cole Palmer. I think he's an excellent player, and obviously there's Mahrez's future. We all know what's going on there, and there is a potential role for a new right winger. And if you look at Cole Palmer's time at Manchester City Football Club so far, he's been on the left a lot. He's been as a false nine through a midfielder, but I do think his natural position is as a right winger, and he pretty much showed everything to his game. The other day, he's very willing to run at people in the tightest of spaces, which is great. I mean, it's rare that you see that from any winger, that they can beat people on the touchline. He's always willing to get a shot off as well. I think this might even be the moment right now with a 1-2 with James McAtee, which is, it's smart, it's incisive, it's dangerous, and that could be a young Riyad Mahrez right there. And but that's Cole Palmer. There are always goals and assists, and I just like him an awful lot. He's obviously coming off the back of an awful lot of confidence with the under-21s, and I think he'll be looking at this potential Mahrez departure as a chance for him, to really stick a claim.
So he had the first half, and then if you're talking who could play on the right, in the second half we got to see Oscar Bob, and there was a moment within seconds of the second half where ball came cross-field, dropped down, and he just controlled it immaculately, and then set up a chance for Ruben Dias. What did you make of Oscar Bob in the second half, Big Steve?
I thought he had a great half. I mean, I listened to his interview after the game, and he was a little bit hard on himself, but to come into the first team, especially a team as good as City, and look like you belong there, is testament to him. I think a lot of City fans are excited to see Oscar get some more minutes in these friendlies, and he didn't look out of place, you know what I mean, and he had a good chance. Not sure if it was offside where he sort of cut in and the goalkeeper saved it, but if you look at the VT here, he's showing composure on the ball, and he's playing with no fear, and it's great to see these young kids coming from the EDS and looking like the transition is a smooth transition, but he definitely didn't look out of place, and he's one for the future, 100%.
The third goal was all about Erling Haaland, of course. Who else? When Manchester City score a lot of goals, of course he's going to be in the action. But this was a nice turn and finish, Stephen McInerney.
It's just classic Erling, isn't it? Didn't skip a beat, straight into the goals again. Phil popping up central. Really quick release to Haaland, and you can't give Erling Haaland, a player of that quality, that much time, especially, especially on his left foot as well. Just a really nice finish. We were chatting as well in the last preview show that maybe he didn't have his best goal scoring run at the end of the season, and it'd be interesting to see how he came back. And Pep was saying, of course, as well in the press conference afterwards, that he's come back in a much better shape than when he joined Manchester City last season, and all the signs were there. Yet again, that goal instinct, that hunger, it's definitely still there, and I think it could be a quite exciting season for him.
Goal number 4 came from Rodri. Big Steve, he doesn't do boring goals, does Rodri?
No, it was a carbon copy of the Istanbul finish, you know what I mean? He came onto it late, and if you watch the build-up play here, it's good, he's patient, and he's got all the space in the world here, and he just sort of passes it, you know what I mean? Passes it into the space, and it's classic Rodri, you know what I mean? But he looked really good when he came on second half. I thought, you always wonder, after a season like we've had, whether there'll be a drop-off, or whether anyone will look tired, or will it take us a bit to get going. But Yokohama, they give Celtic a good run out the week before, they're midway through their season, and I was really impressed with the fitness levels and the way we took to it.
Yeah, people like Rodri. I think it's really obvious that some players will maybe look for a new challenge or whatever, but some people seem empowered by it. And like Rodri and Stones, you watched him in particular, they looked like Champions League winners. They looked like they knew they were better than the opposition, and they looked more confident and emboldened. And I mean, that's what we're going to see from certain players. I just can't wait to see how they take that confidence into the real big challenges, games against United, Arsenal, Liverpool, because I've got a feeling they'll sort of overpower them with their own self-belief, which I can't wait to see more of.
looking forward to it. Yokohama tried to make it a little bit nervy, maybe 4-3, but Erling Haaland was there again for goal number 5, and you can see him starting to make that run forward as always. Oscar Bob involved in the build-up as well, a player that Erling Haaland rates. It all combined. There's the ball from Cancelo and Haaland with the tap-in, Big Steve.
Yeah, great goal. Good to see Bob involved. Cancelo as well. You know, he's come back. Maybe he's got a point to prove. It was a great assist. He puts that ball across there, and you can't defend that. The goalkeeper can't come out for it. And Erling's just a man at the back post, right time. He's always alert. He sort of sensed what was happening. If you look at Erling here, he knows he's going to get that ball, peels off at the back post, and it's a tap-in. But great to see Cancelo involved as well. You know what I mean? He had a good half. And just wondering what the future holds for Joe. You know what I mean? He's back. He's training well. And if he carries on playing like that, I'm sure the City fans will love him to stay.
Yeah, lovely little low ball in, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just KDB, wasn't it? You know, or Cancelo, I guess we could call it. Beautiful cross. But that's obviously the magic that we know he's got. He's great on the left. He's great on the right. He's an immensely talented footballer, and he enjoyed himself out there as well, which is really nice, given everything that went on last season.
Will he start against Bayern Munich tomorrow, a side that he was on loan at last season? You can find out by watching the game on City Plus and Recast tomorrow morning. City against Bayern Munich, their second match of pre-season. We've mentioned during our look back of Yokohama all about the likes of Cole Palmer and Oscar Bob coming through the academy. Oscar Bob had an instrumental role last season in the EDS, making it 3 in 3. And there's a brand new documentary all about how they did it.
You don't score goal. It's not goal against Tottenham. Oh, not like that. No.
We're not.
You know, Haaland said to you, didn't he? The moment we're about the line and we're in a goal, it's the feeling it comes alive. We're in. Prepare yourself for a difficult game. The difficult games are the best games.
I've seen the first episode of that. Looking forward to watching more of it as well. Such a great side, an enjoyable side to watch. It's all within the City mould as well, and led by Brian Barry Murphy. You can check that out now on City Plus and Recast. So we are waiting for Ruben Dias and Pep Guardiola's press conferences. They're coming up shortly. But ahead of that, you might have seen brand new kit out from Manchester City today. It is available to buy right now, that third kit for next season. Electric on the pitch. Manchester City are now electric on the shirt as well.
Yeah, no, we've just been talking about it off air. It's just a nice kit, you know what I mean? It's nice. My daughter this morning has already given me the instructions when I was going out the door. Dad, I want the new kit with lightning on. So I don't know whether because she likes Lightning McQueen or something like that, but she now wants this kit with lightning on. So yeah. No, it's a good kit, good third kit, and the reaction online, especially my socials this morning, was all positive, and I think it's one of them kits that's going to grow on a lot of people.
I was convinced myself I'm going to look as good as Jack Grealish, and there's absolutely no chance, mate. I am not an elite level Gucci model, but it's a really fun kit, and it looks great in the Tokyo backdrop there, of course, as well. And I do like how the kits seem. There's always something for everyone. You know, lots of iconic shirts at the moment, and like with all football kits, as soon as you see Haaland bag a goal on it, it's going to look beautiful and wonderful. And it's a really fun design. And I think when you've got free kits, one of them's got to be a little bit out there. And this one, it just looks good on the players. And I feel like the kit's always growing you the more you see them. And it's a really interesting design, but it's a fun design. I like it.
Yeah. How good's the promo as well? It just looks sharp,
it looks great, doesn't it?
It looks really good. Loads of praise coming in, which you can see on the bottom of the screen as well. Keep your tweets coming in. Keep your WhatsApps coming in as well. Any questions for the two Steves here, or indeed for Joleon, Lescott and Shaun Wright-Phillips, who are out in Tokyo with FG? you can get them to us and we'll read them to the guys and try and get them answered before we go off a little bit later. As one, Adam says there, it is just beautiful. City electrified for the new season. I'll need 2 of these. Yeah, absolutely. Go get them now. They are available to buy. Manchester City's third kit for the brand new season. They will be wearing it tomorrow for the game against Bayern Munich, which is what we're building up to now. We're going to hear from Ruben Dias and Pep Guardiola shortly in their press conferences ahead of that game. What do you want to see perhaps this time around in the Bayern Munich game?
I guess more similar to what we saw the other day, but maybe different combinations of players. I do like the fact that we saw 2 different 11s because the squad, it's so stacked and there's a lot of players there with something to prove. But I'd like to see how, for example, Palmer links up with maybe Phil Foden, or as opposed to Foden was on with Bob and so on. Maybe a couple of different variations of players. Like Rodri, I'd love to see how he works alongside James McAtee, for example, because they were on at different times of the pitch. I guess more of the same, and hopefully maybe slightly better defence. We weren't at our best the other day. I mean, it makes it fun because more goals, more entertaining. But I think Pep wouldn't have been particularly happy about that.
It will. You would imagine it won't be the same first half side and second half side this time around. It will be a combination of the two. Probably 2 different teams again in each half, but you'll learn more, as Steve McInerney says, Big Steve, about different combinations. Yeah,
I think he'll change it. I think Bayern Munich's a lot tougher a test. We've played them this season. Obviously, we know. I think they're going to want to get some sort of revenge on us. But no, it'd be interesting to see how he goes. Maybe Kovacic and Rodri might start in the middle there, see how that goes. Maybe he can somehow fit Alvarez and Haaland in at the same time, maybe just behind him or something like that. The defence, we can always mix and match it, you know what I mean? Diaz maybe can go back with Akanji. But I think he'll change it both halves again. And it's just about getting the minutes in the legs. Let's get the lads fit, get them ready, up to speed. And now's the time to try different things. And you know what Pep's like, he's always got something up his sleeve. Every season we see something change. So tomorrow's a really tough test and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Bayern Munich have been pretty active in the transfer market as well, so it probably won't be similar to the side that we saw at the Etihad Stadium in the dominant performance from Manchester City. But again, that gives Pep an opportunity to try new things, new tactics and a new test and a new challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's key to the preparations for the season. The clubs at the level of Bayern Munich, even in a friendly, they're going to be a game. They're going to be a challenge because these games are so global these days, aren't they? Like, people pay attention to them online, and it's a simple friendly years ago wouldn't have been such a big deal, but you can't really ignore a Manchester City versus Bayern Munich game, even if it's a pre-season game, because the history between these two clubs now in the Champions League it is irrelevant, and I think the players will know that. So I do think Pep will probably use this as a chance to not quite the strongest team, but I think he'll be curious to see how some of the ideas that he's got look with some of the players that may be more likely to start at the Community Shield game, for example. I think we might see something closer to a strongest 11 because Bayern is a good chance to test that.
I think we only failed to see 2 players in the Yokohama game, one being Kevin De Bruyne, who's possibly still carrying that injury, but the other being Edison. So if we expect him to start against Bayern Munich, perhaps? Yeah, I think Edison will start. I think with Kevin, I think he's, after what we were told towards the end of the season, he was carrying that hamstring injury. I think I've seen him on an exercise bike at the side of the pitch just ticking over. So I think Kevin's just being nurtured through the pre-season. If he makes the last couple of games, it'd be great to see him out there, but we don't need to rush him. Like you say, everybody else got minutes, and tomorrow's going to be a tough game. Bayern Munich, like Stephen said, they're a great side. We played them in the Champions League and the games were really tough, but it'd be good to see us step it up again now. We got rid of Yokohama, ridden the wave of 2-0 down. Let's hope we can start again how we left off against Yokohama and we can win tomorrow. Let's have a look at Kevin De Bruyne. He has been busy whilst out in Tokyo, as well as being on the exercise bike. He's been meeting the fans there. He's one of the longest serving players now at Manchester City and carries a great reputation of being a great player and a great character as well. It would be nice to see him in pre-season, but look, we understand everything he gave the club, Stephen McInerney, at the end of last season, carrying that injury and still going to play in the big games. If we don't get to see too much of him, I don't think we're going to be too disappointed.
Look, if he was on the beach, I don't think any of us would be complaining, really, because he absolutely deserves it. And all we want is a Kevin De Bruyne that's going to be at his best, rested and focused ahead of the new season. And I think he just probably wants to be there with his teammates as well. He wants to be there, even if he's not fully fit, just sort of getting into the rhythm of things again and getting his fitness up, while at the same time, getting to meet Kovacic and maybe some of the younger players who've not been involved as much. And the thing about KDB at his age is he knows his own body. He knows when he's ready, and I wouldn't think he'd be out there if he was miles off, which is reassuring.
Yeah, absolutely. So Manchester City against Bayern Munich. You can see it tomorrow on City Plus and Recast. Do join us for that one. When we look at Manchester City and the side that they might play, do you want to see more academy players playing together, or do you like the blend of them playing with the experience of the Haalands and the Rodris, etc., to learn from them and get experience that way?
I think obviously they play together in the academy setup all the time, so I think it's good to see them with the senior players, with the older players. Obviously, growing up in the academy, the dream is to play in that first team with them players. So I think Pep always has a good mix. We don't want to go too strong on the youngsters and end up getting a bit out of the depth and struggling a little bit. So it's good to put them in this team just sporadically, sprinkle a bit in and when it's needed. And I think tomorrow Bayern Munich, it takes their progression up a level. I think they're going to be tested against better players. So Bob and Palmer, we spoke about, they're going to come up against some good players tomorrow at Bayern Munich. So it'd be great to see how they cope with that.
We did ask for your WhatsApps. Keep them coming in. We can put the questions to the two Steves here in the studio, and that's exactly what Sarah has done. She says, if the two gents had to choose one player in the current squad that gels everything together in the team, who would that be? Who's unsellable?
Rodri, isn't it, right now?
Rodri, I think. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think everything about Manchester City involves Rodri.
Yeah.
He starts the attacks, he breaks down the opposition attacks, he's popping up late with goals. And he scored that wonderful one in Istanbul, so we're all happy.
It's Rodri, but then I guess if you had to name another one, I'd probably say Ruben Dias, because obviously he's maybe not as fundamental to the overall game in terms of tactically as Rodri is, but I mean that mentality he's got. I mean, he's a captain in all but name. He's an absolute leader, and I think there's something about his mentality and his immense positivity. He just influences all those around him, and I don't think it's a coincidence that City's defence and just approach to the game improved so much when he came back last season. So for me, it's those two, Rodri and Dias. We're just a vastly better team from where I'm sat anyway. If those two are on the pitch.
If we talk Ruben Dias, we are going to hear from him very shortly in the press conference. You mentioned his leadership qualities. We know Rodri's got leadership qualities. Kyle Walker captained the squad against Yokohama at the weekend. Owen asks, who do you think will be Manchester City's number one captain this season? We know they picked several, but who would be the leader?
For me, I'd have to go Dias. Whether Pep thinks he gives it someone else because he knows Dias is going to be leading like a captain anyway, I don't know. But I think Ruben, that could excel him a little bit more. I know everything about him, his captain, leader, mentality. But when you've got that armband on your arm, I think you feel it a little bit more. And it'd be testament to him and everything he's done for Manchester City since he's came in, for him to get the captain's armband. But I'm sure the squad, I think they all have a sit down and they vote for it. So... but for my choice would be Ruben Dias.
They don't just pick one, they pick five don't they, as well?
I think they'll probably stick to the old method of giving it to the most experienced. I think it probably will be Kevin De Bruyne as a nominal captain, and because it's why kind of Gundogan was there as well last year. And it's not something that we often see over in the UK a lot, but I think it's very popular on the continent that, giving it to the most experienced player. And it's sort of treated City well in the past, with David Silva and Fernandinho and Gundogan. And KDB, he's the kind of guy who doesn't need the armband to be effective, but at the same time, Rodri and Stones and Dias, they're the same. They're going to be themselves. They're going to be captains anyway. And I think that's what we're so lucky to have in this Manchester City side. You could name Ake captain, Akanji captain, Stones, Dias, Rodri, but not all these players, and no one would question it because they're all just natural born leaders. And I think we're pretty blessed on that front.
Just get one more question in from Oscar. If City could win only one trophy next season, which one would you take?
I know I won't.
Do you know what? I've always been a Premier League man, and I've always been, that's our bread and butter. 38 game season, end of the season, you win the league. It's so satisfying. But I can't lie. Champions League this year, hit me a little bit different. Could we do a Wembley this year, Champions League? I don't know.
It's at Wembley, isn't it?
Yeah,
on home soil.
You know what? I'm going
to
to say the Premier League because we're on for a 4-timer.
Yeah.
It's never been done.
Yeah.
Let's get it done this year, and then ask me again next year.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with it. I think we've had a decent Champions League fill after the treble, and I feel like just 4 in a row is just. Yeah, it's remarkable, and I'll take either. I'm going to be honest, Mike. I want the Carabao Cup back. That's what I want. There you go. Get a Carabao Cup back.
Carabao Cup back. City did win 4 times in a row. We've loaned it out for a couple of seasons. Time to get it back.
Bring it home.
If they do win any of those trophies, maybe they're going to win it in their brand new 3rd kit. That Haaland, Grealish, Kovacic shot's lovely, isn't it? I love that. That's really good. Manchester City's new 3rd kit is available to buy now. You can see with the comments on screen the love for the brand new shirt. Electric City, loving Kovacic in it there, says that one. And yeah, so appropriate that Tokyo is so electrifying. So flashy, I love it, and I agree with that. Back to your WhatsApp questions. Keep them coming in for the 2 Steves. We've got Stephen McInerney and Big Steve in the studio with us as we preview tomorrow's game with Bayern Munich. It is an early start for us here in the UK. Hello, wherever you're watching around the world. But in the UK, Stan's got the all-important question for you. Bacon butty, red or brown sauce?
Brown.
Red.
Nothing red is going on my butter.
I'll call it ketchup, all right?
I
mean? I actually do call it ketchup. I think it's because I don't want to say the red sauce.
Refuse to say red sauce, yeah, absolutely. They did trial a blue sauce, didn't they?
They did back in the main road days, I remember that. Bring you back.
Olivia asks if you had to pick a player in the Pep era, so across his whole 7 years so far, who you'd want in the current City squad, who would you pick?
I would have David Silva back in a heartbeat. I mean, especially given David Silva from like the 17-18 season. Just imagine that, because especially now Gundogan's moved on and watching, just David Silva. I mean, it's David Silva. What more do I need to say?
I'd probably go Yaya Toure. Just have Yaya Toure ahead of Rodri. Just let Yaya go and cause madness.
What a midfield it would be. Dan says, we've heard of the Guardiola transfer talk. How do the lads think the defence will shape up against improved Premier League attacks?
These players, they're the kind of people that rise to pretty much any challenge anyway, because that's why they won a treble. I don't think they're going to be fazed by, as good as these players coming in are, they just won a treble against the likes of Vinicius Junior and Benzema and, Sane and Gnabry for Bayern. Like these, they've already played at the apex and the peak of football, so I don't really see them being fazed by a bunch of new players coming into the Premier League because they've been there, done that, And obviously it'll be a challenge and there'll be new experiences for them. But I don't think they're going to be worried or particularly nervous by it.
No, I think our defence is really strong. I think you only have to see by the end of the season the way we set up with the 4 central defenders at the back that we're conceding less goals. I think them lads will relish new players coming in. That's what football's about. And I think if we do manage to add to the defence, I think it can only make us stronger, and if everyone's fit, I'm confident that our defence is the best in the league.
Interesting one from Joe, says with Pep having achieved the holy grail of winning the Champions League, can you see a point when Pep decides it's time to move on?
No, it's never happening, mate. We're tying him into a chair somewhere. At some point it's going to happen, but look, I don't think Pep thinks the story's done yet either, though. There's always something new to do. There's always, a new player to help develop a bit more of a legacy and so on. And I do think Pep will be looking at this team and going, I've got Erling Haaland, who's still very young, Alvarez, Phil Foden, Rico Lewis coming through, so Bob Palmer. And I think he'll be tempted to just help push their careers a little bit further because he must be proud of Busquets and Iniesta and Xavi and Messi and so on. And there is always something new. So for me, like, I don't think he's looking at everything right, I'm going to go on that year. I think he's just seeing how he feels, and there's always a challenge. I think there's always a chance he could stay. He's
got to score at Spurs away as well. First.
Exactly,
He said that himself.
Yeah, I'm not going Spurs away next year. I'm leaving it now because it's never going to win there.
Max says, just jumping back to the game against Yokohama, how well has Kovacic fitted into the squad after his first appearance at the weekend?
No, yeah, we spoke about it before. He just looked a natural. He didn't look out of place. I think a player of that experience and what he's done in the game can only add to Manchester City and make us stronger. I was impressed with his first game. I'm looking forward tomorrow up against Bayern Munich. It'll be a stiffer test, in my opinion. I think there'll be a big battle to be won in that midfield. So, Kovacic, game one, didn't do anything wrong for me, was brilliant. Tomorrow, let's see how he goes on.
Let's have a look at Kovacic and the rest of them in action. Here are the highlights from that 5-3 win over Yokohama.
We are back. The last 40 days have dragged. We've waited impatiently to see the champions of Europe in action, and albeit nearly 6,000 miles from home, we at last can see the all-conquering Blues. Now, is that offside? No, it's not. The flag has stayed down, and I think just for a moment Akanji was certain that it wasn't going to be, and there's a real chance for Yokohama, and they've scored through Anderson Lopez. Well, the Blues were looking for an offside, it didn't come. A bit thin on the cover here, the Blues, and indeed there's a man on marked in the middle, and he's going to score, Matsubara, and the Blues are now 2 behind. Grealish, Palmer, nice back heel, Walker joins in, Alvarez, Stones, he's prolific. He weighed in with useful goals last season, and in this midfield role that he has these days, he'll get more opportunities to do things like that. Again, trying to play their way out from the back, and Phillips stops Ichimori, and Alvarez will score, and it's 2-2 before half-time. Really good closing in by Calvin Phillips, and Joleon Alvarez could not miss, and it's 2-2. Nice touch from Lewis and Gomez, and now it's on towards Haaland. Second touch to control it, third touch to score it. Normal service resumed. Laporte started so well in the second half, they've been all over them, and Rodri! Do you remember the last goal he scored? Well, it's nowhere near as important, but he's just passed it into the net. Pep Guardiola loved it. Well, again, the flag has stayed down. Lewis and Ortega not on the same wavelength. And Yokohama make it 4-3. Where did that come from? Inui, the beneficiary. Bob. Joao Cancelo on the overlap. Oh, that's a beautiful ball. And Haaland times his run, guides it in. 2 for Haaland, 5 for City. And it has been a really good workout in the Far East. And the pre-season tour has the perfect start.
So they were the highlights of yesterday, of the game against Yokohama, 5-3 victory. Let's hear from Ruben Dias ahead of the game with Bayern Munich tomorrow.
Let's get started. So if you have any question, please raise your hand. No? Okay.
激坂の竹内と申します。よろしくお願いします。日本語で失礼いたします。マンチェスターシティが来日してからしばらく時間が経って街中でもいろんな活動をされてると思うんですけど、日本をどのように楽しんでますでしょうか。で、今非常に暑い時期だと思うんですけど、この前試合を終えてから疲れとかそのあたりのコンディションはいかがでしょうか。
Takeuchi of Gekisaka magazine. So City arrived in Japan several days ago, and you must have had some time to enjoy Japan. Have you go out to town? And also, we are having the extremely heated weather in Japan right now. So after the play in the other day, how's your condition in this heat?
Well, first of all, yes, we had some time. Not a lot. The boss keeps us busy, but yeah, we did have some time to have a look around and a walk around the city, and it definitely looks like an amazing city. I could see myself living here. So yeah. About the heat wave, I think especially today, I think we can feel it the most. It's hot, but still, I think we will be all right. So far, we've been dealing with it absolutely fine. So even though sometimes, yes, it gets hotter than England for sure, but we can manage it.
はい、確かに来日してから少し街を歩いたり、何か別なことをしたりする時間はありますが、ただボスがやはり非常に私たちを忙しくしてますので、そんなに観光したりする時間はありませんでも非常に素晴らしい経験をしていまして、日本に住んでもいいなという、自分がここに住んでても大丈夫という気持ちがしています。それからこの暑さですけれども、今日は特に暑いです。でも大丈夫です。なんとかコンディションを保ってます。イングランドよりも確かに暑いですけれども、そんな中でも大丈夫です。
Thank you. So, next question.
Yes, hi, Mats Begge. Ruben, earlier Jack and Erling, they made a joke about you being a fraud for the time you used in the gym. Could you tell me how much do they contribute to the banter in the dressing room?
Well, I think obviously them, you can see it clearly, but not just them. I think overall we've got this very good environment between all of us. And even Matteo, he just came in, and on one of my first conversations with him, he just told me, "Wow, this is amazing. How well you get along with each other, all of you." Obviously, there's still a lot to know for him. He just arrived, but just the first impression that he got, I think it tells a lot about what happens inside. And I guess that mostly, and when it comes to those kind of jokes, it's about having the people that can obviously make the joke, but also the same people accepting to be made of a joke. And I guess that friendly environment between us, it definitely helps us. Well, when the time comes to be together.
はい、what was the joke? I'm sorry.
Oh, the joke is long.
ごめんなさい。ちょっと通訳かジョークか分かりませんでした。で、ジムでいろいろロッカールームでいろんなジョークが飛んでいるらしいんですけれども、それについてどうも、それに関連した質問になります。で、今非常に良い雰囲気の中で過ごしていまして、マテオ・コバチッチも入ってきたばかりですけれども、非常に親しくなっています。内部に実際に入ってきて、マテオ自身も非常に素晴らしい印象だというふうに言っています。いろんなジョークが飛び交っていますけれども、今のジョークはちょっと長くて説明できないんですけれども、良い雰囲気の中でチームが構築できていると思います。
Thank you. So, next question.
Hi, Ruben. Tobi Altscheffel from Sportbild in Germany. You're one of the best, maybe the best defender in the Premier League. Bayern recently bought Kim Min-jae, who has been voted best defender of Serie A from Napoli. You're facing him tomorrow. What do you think about Kim Min-jae? Do you know him? What is your opinion about him?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I've not been the most sharp on watching Serie A last season, but I most definitely know about the impact he made, and I know he did a very good season. I was able probably to watch him a bit more when the Champions League came on, but yeah, I believe he's definitely a very good defender. He's a strong one, and I believe Bayern will make good use of him.
はい。このドイツに新しく入ったディフェンダー、ミンジェイ・キムについて、ナポリから来たわけですけれども、どういう印象を持ってますかという質問に対して、正直言って、去年、昨シーズンあまりセリエ A をウォッチしていなかったので、そんなに詳しくないんです。ただ、非常に良いシリーズだったと思いますので、強いインパクトがあったと思います。チャンピオンズリーグでは、よく、の時の方がよくその観察することができたんですけれども、強い、とても良いディフェンダーですので、バイエルンはミンジェイ・キム選手を非常によく活用すると思います。
Thank you. Next.
Hiya, Ruben. You mentioned the atmosphere and the environment being great before. Obviously, there's a few big players that have got interest from other clubs, players like Bernardo and Walker. How crucial is it for the team, for the club to keep hold of players like that? And have you been asking them to stay?
Obviously, when it comes to, well, basically all of our players, because all of us are very important and all of us will be desired by other clubs. But it's obviously good when we manage for those that are most being spoken about, when we manage to get them to stay. But I guess that in the end it's just what football is about. It's about people coming, people going, and you've said two names. We have other names that have already gone this season, last season, and sometimes it's unfortunate because of how good we were together in here and how good all of us work together. But like I said before, it is what it is, and it's football. It's not any other. Well, in the end, it's sports. Sports generally, it's like this, but it's not like any other profession in which things just might be stable for a longer period of time, and we just need to adapt. Let's see what happens. Obviously, the two names you said, you're talking about two very important players in the last few years, and I'm sure that if they stay, they'll keep being important. But at the same time, it's not my place to say anything else. I think just say that obviously I think all of us, players and fans and staff, would like them to stay, but decisions are decisions, and whatever decision is made, we have to respect it and we have to move forward. But mostly, the fact that just recently, since I've came, every time the circumstance of someone might be going, it's a fact that everyone would like it not to happen. Everyone would enjoy for them to stay longer. That says a lot about the club, and it says a lot about the team we have.
はい、素晴らしい雰囲気の中でプレーをしていると言っていましたけれども、ベルナルドとそれからカイル・ウォーカーが去るんではないかということが言われていますけれども、ご自身から残ってほしいというようなチャンスはありますか。それに関する答えですけれども、私たちのチームは全員プレイヤーは大事です。そしてどのプレイヤーも他のクラブから欲しいと言われています。でもそういう状況に関して私たちのクラブはうまく対応していると思います。もちろん、話すチャンスがあった場合に、残ってほしいと心の中では思っていますけれども、でも最終的にそれを決めるのは選手たちです。またサッカーというのは入ってくる人もいれば去る人もいます。これはどうしても避けられないことです。前シーズンもそれからその前のシーズンも入ってきた選手もいれば残ってきた選手も自分が入ってからそういうことが起こりました。そしてやはり残ってほしかったな、一緒にプレーをもっとしたかったなという選手もいますけれども、それがサッカーですし、サッカーに限らずスポーツというものはそういうものだと思います。そして長く残ってくれればそれに対して慣れていってどんどん良いチームが作れますけれども、でも最終的に大事なのは今いる選手、そして残った選手を大事にして、そして全てのプレイヤーファンのためにプレーをするということだと思います。ただ残留するかどうかということはやはりこれは選手が決めることですので、そういう状況というのは避けられないと思います。
Thank you. I think the next question is the last one. Thank you.
Hi Ruben, Arilas from TV2 Norway. You've spoken about the importance of staying hungry even after you won the treble last season. During your last game here, it was clear that Erling Haaland has obviously a very clear body language, even in the friendly game when he doesn't get a pass or if he misses a chance and stuff. Can you give us an insight in his body language, his mentality, and how it helps the team?
Well, obviously you will always be the perfect person for that question, but as a teammate, what I can say is that, like you said, you can see it As much you can see it on him, you can see it on all the others. And you can see that even though this team has won a lot the past few years, we're still hungry, and we're still here to do it again and again and again. Obviously, actions speak louder than words, and we can say all that we want, but in the end, what matters is when the ball starts playing and what we do when we're on the pitch and facing the challenges we will face. But mostly, I think the mentality is there with everyone that belongs to the club.
はい、今すべての選手が大事だと言いましたけれども、やはり、この前トレブルを勝ってからご自身でやはりこのチームはずっとハングリーだというふうに言っていました。そして前回この親善試合であったとしてもハーランドがボディーラングエッジでそれを表していました。そのどういうメンタリティーかそのご自身の理解、知見を教えてくれますか。でそれに対して答えですけれども、私はチームメイトとしての考え方を言えますけれども、実際ご自身が見てるわけですから、どういう行動をするかというのは自分でご覧になって一番よくわかると思います。ただハーランドに限らず他のプレイヤーもやはり今までたくさんこのチームで勝ってきましたけれども、これからもそれをどんどん繰り返していたいというハングリー精神を持っています。そしてそれに基づいてしっかりと行動してピッチで大きなチャレンジに立ち向かう、そういうメンタリティーを全員が持っていると思います。
Thank you. This concludes press conference for Mr. Dias. Mr. Dias, thank you.
I'd just like to say one last thing. I forgot about Tokyo. The city is so clean. I would like you to congratulate you on that.
で最後の一言、東京は本当に綺麗です。おめでとうと言いたいと思います。
Big up the Tokyo, Ben.
Thank you so much.
And there goes Ruben Dias, very impressed with what he's seen from Tokyo so far. He said he could see himself living there as well, didn't he? A little bit at the start of his press conference. Happy with the good environment, which Kovacic was clearly impressed by as well. He said that when Kovacic came into the squad, he was impressed by how well all the Manchester City players got on. He praised for the Bayern defender, Kim Min-jae, as well. He hasn't watched a lot of him at Napoli, but knows his strengths as a defender. They may come up against each other tomorrow as well. Doesn't want anyone to leave, but accepts that it is part of the football cycle. But he's very happy with who is playing at the Manchester City squad. So whilst we wait for Pep Guardiola, gents, Stephen McInerney and Big Steve in the studio as well. Ruben Dias speaking as brilliantly as he always does, but really impressive to hear about that good environment that City have, and just shows how close they all are with Kovacic coming in, and it's the first thing he mentions.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's always a good sign when new players come in and the first thing they mention is the harmony in the squad. I mean, you can tell that anyway. You don't win trebles and be champions of Europe if there's disharmony in the squad. I think Pep keeps a nice atmosphere around the squad at all time. They've all got that keyword mentality. The players that he brings in this team are winners. And you can see with Ruben there, the way he speaks, everything about the club is top notch. And yeah, no, it's good to hear him talk like that. And as fans, you know, it's reassuring to know that the harmony is in the squad.
Yeah, I guess the three of us are probably lucky enough to have been around some of these players a bit, and the thing that always strikes me is how genuinely nice a lot of them are. Like, they seem like fundamentally good people, and that's obviously a plan. The City sign good people, great players, but more importantly, good people as well, and that obviously leads into the mentality, and it makes someone like Kovacic, well, you know, if he's coming in, one, he's got the quality seal approval, but two, they check the background, they check their personalities. Kovacic obviously is someone who's going to fit into that group, and I think that's a big part of Manchester City's success, and it makes that transition so much easier as well if you've got those friendly faces there and people who can immediately show you what the atmosphere is like. And I think City's, well, you'd expect it to be happy after winning the treble, but I think the fact that, you know, everyone's so keen to see each other again, they're mates, and I do think you fight harder for your mate, don't you? So it helps.
Yeah, Kovacic, obviously a serial Champions League winner, yeah. Knows what it takes to win that tournament as well. Talked about the body language. Erling Haaland was asked about. Ruben replied saying you can see it in all of the players. His other quote I liked was talking about how hungry are Manchester City, and he says we want to do it again and again and again.
No, it's brilliant, isn't it? You know, the big fear, I think, for a lot of Manchester City supporters is we've reached the summit. We've just done a treble. We're champions of Europe. And you think, can it get better than that? So you're hoping that the players going into the season, some great teams in the past, there's been a natural drop-off. After doing so well one season, there is a natural drop-off. I don't think Pep's going to allow that. I don't think people like Ruben Dias are going to allow that. I think the winners, I think they're like, no, last season's done, it's gone. We've got to go one better. We've got to win it all. And I think with that mentality and that attitude, there's no reason why we can't win.
Yeah, I think we forget how addictive success is. There's a reason we go on holiday to the same places, or we like the same songs, or we have the same food, because you like what you like, and like winning things, winning trophies, it's pretty much the best feeling in sport. And if you get the right kind of people, which City obviously have, as we talked about a minute ago, they taste that success and they want more. They are hungry. They want to prove to people that they are the best, because ultimately, all they've got at the end of their career, well, they've got a lot of money as well, but they've got their legacy, and that's what they'll tell their grandkids about, as the cliche goes. And I do think they've tasted that, and they want to win another Champions League trophy. They want to win another Premier League, because it's absolutely addictive. And I don't think for 1 second Pep would keep anyone around who didn't have that same, the same fire in their eyes and the same drive to win.
To kind of combine both of those points, the Kovacic point about the team environment's interesting, because he said he noticed it before he came to City. So when he was a Chelsea player, he could pick it up, and obviously success helps bring people closer together. But it's that team environment that's not only evident to us as City fans watching, but those outside can see how close this City team is.
Yeah, listen, I think we're unique as a club and as a fan base. I think we've got this. The fans have got this winning mentality now. We expect a certain level from the players, and there's always good harmony in the squad. There's always a togetherness. When we don't do well in a season, if a season sort of drops off a little bit, nobody panics. The supporters don't panic. The team doesn't panic. We regroup. We look at where it's gone wrong, and we pull together and we get the team over the line. So I think anyone looking from the outside in looks at this football club from top to bottom and thinks everything about it is top notch. So yeah, it's brilliant.
It's because it is. Everything is top notch. It's the best, and it's all planned for as well. As you were saying, City do sign these players, and they do sign people who are going to get on with each other. And for me, it's a big part of what makes City so brilliant. And it's nice that they can sense it as well. Kovacic can tell that Stones and Diaz are great mates, and Rodri fits in, and Bernardo and Haaland. And you can see it on the celebrations last year. I mean, I remember looking back at a lot of the highlights when the season was done, and what struck me, I know it sounds kind of silly, but it's how many iconic photos there were of successes last year, where all the players were celebrating together. And they're not doing that unless they're all best mates. So there was a real kind of joy for each other. And I do think people like Erling, Haaland feed into that. Like, how many people score 50-odd goals a season and they're just as happy to see Bernardo Silva score a goal? Yeah. It's rare. Like, a lot of players, when they're that good, could maybe understand and think about themselves quite a bit, because it'd feed into who they are. But they're selfless and they're brilliant, and you can tell they're really in it for each other. And that is definitely a big part of City's success.
The other point that he made was it was related to the Erling Haaland comment, I guess, that Haaland grabs the headlines time in, time out, but Ruben Dias saying, well, actually, we're all as a team, we want to take the pressure off Erling Haaland, for example, to carry this team, and we will work together. And we've seen that. I mean, it's an obvious comment, but we've seen it.
Yeah, we see it, and to be honest, and they do it as well when it matters. Like, you look at Bernardo popping up and scoring a couple of goals against Real Madrid, when maybe Erling's form wasn't at its best then. And you can tell that Erling knows that as well. We look at his celebrations, we look how he interacts with his teammates, and I think there's no better feeling in football knowing that your teammates have got your back, and that they support you and they're there, because no player in the world is 10 out of 10 every single week. It's just not possible. They're human beings. They are, perfectly imperfect, and they will have days where it's not going to work. So you've got Grealish there, you've got Bernardo, you've got Phil there. You're confident.
Yeah, obviously Erling gets the plaudits because of the amount of goals and the records he's breaking. But you look at the iconic moments through the season: FA Cup final, Ilkay Gundogan; Champions League final, Rodri. Yeah. You look at, like Stephen said, Bernardo popping up against Real Madrid. So everyone's taking the share of the plaudits. This team has got match winners and superstars all across it. So if somebody's not quite at the races, somebody steps up to the plate and makes sure the job gets done. And like Ruben was saying about the mentality and the harmony in the squad, that's what it creates. It creates superstars all across the pitch, because they all feel as one. And this football club, like you say, if somebody's maybe not at top of his game, somebody's there to step up.
The other thing that Ruben Dias mentioned was that he wants everyone to stay at Manchester City, of course, but if they do move on, it is part of the cycle of football. The question is, could some of those gaps be plugged by some academy stars? Those academy stars won the EDS last year. 3 in 3 is the title of a new documentary on City Plus and Recast.
Don't score a goal. It's not a goal against Tottenham. Oh, not like that. No.
Winner. You know, Haaland said it, didn't he? The moment we're break the line and we're in a goal, it's the feeling it comes alive. We're in. Prepare yourself for a difficult game. The difficult games are the best games.
You can see the comments coming in at the bottom of the screen. I'm getting this. I love it. It's the brand new third shirt from Manchester City. It is available now to buy. City will look electric, literally, in that shirt, I think. Keep your WhatsApp questions coming into the two Steves. Whatever you hear in the press conferences, we can talk and react to that and get your comments as well. Or if there's anything else you want to add, you can also put the questions to Joleon, Lescott and Shaun Wright-Phillips, who are on the way. They're pitch side at open training in Tokyo at the Japanese National Stadium with FG, and we'll be going live there after Pep Guardiola's press conference, which is coming up shortly. Some of the questions coming in. Charlie wants to know from you, Big Steve, have you been getting any stick from rival fan channels due to, I guess, City's success?
Yeah, listen, get it every day, but listen, we win the treble, you're going to get it. We're at the top of the mountain, everyone wants to throw stones and knock us off. But I'm batting it off well. I'm doing all right. I've got my chest out. We're treble winners. Yeah, I'm used to it now. But yeah, it's all good fun.
Arsenal fan T-shirt at Christmas?
The T-shirt was supposed to be mine, but he didn't want to give it me. But, you know, I thought they might have learned the lesson, but they're still dancing outside the stadium now. So we'll see. Plenty of season coming up. Lots of banter coming up from both sides. And Arsenal, Man United fans, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, any City fans watching this, one thing I will say is do not let them not know about City winning the treble. Absolutely ram it down their throats, because they do it to us forever, and genuinely this is our time, so just milk it, absolutely milk it, because we're the best team in the world, so, you know, why not?
As we play Bayern Munich tomorrow, they are or former, I should say, absolutely former European champions. Whoa, let's not go into that. Do the Steves think that other clubs in Europe will now fear City in the same way that in the past City would have feared Bayern Munich and Real Madrid?
I think they already did, to be honest. I think they did. I think we just hadn't quite got there. But you only have to look at how teams spoke about Manchester City. No one wanted to draw City, you know. And even before, you know, we won it, we were still in the final, still in the semi-finals regularly. We were still beating big teams. But obviously now we can't deny that now that we've taken that step, there is another level of fear there, you know, because we've done it. You know, the proof's in the fact that we held the trophy. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're different now. I think that a lot of teams realise that we've had our bumps in the road, but we use that to our advantage. Now we've won the trophy, now we're champions of Europe, now we've got the experience of going away from home, getting results, bringing them back to the Etihad. And with the Etihad being such a fortress now, I don't think anyone in European football wants to play Manchester City at any time. And I think going into this season, we know what it takes now to win. So I think we're going to be better, more experienced for it, and yeah, nobody in Europe's going to want to come to the Etihad.
Yeah, I think it changed last season, didn't it? I think people sense that the Etihad has become this place. Like, it was always there, but I think there's an acknowledgement to. You see it online, people going, "Oh, you don't want to play there." Actually, you know, it's electric. The fans are amazing, and the players come alive. It's just a scary team.
The Champions League draw is next month, which is pretty scary to think about. The qualifiers are already happening now. I think they happened about 15 days after City won the Champions League. First game back at the Etihad Stadium as treble winners this season will be Newcastle at home. Daniel says City are going to play Company's Burnley and Eddie Howe's Newcastle in their first two games of the Premier League. If they get past these two tests, can we go all the way?
Yeah, listen, it's a long season, you know what I mean? It's a long old season. I'm sure, you know, City in the past have not started seasons great. Sometimes we have a couple of oddball results, but the key is not to panic. The key is to just keep doing what we're doing. Burnley away on a Friday night. They've got the momentum. They've come up from the Championship. It's going to be a really good atmosphere. So that's going to be tough. And a rejuvenated Newcastle with the money they're spending and the buzz around the place. That's going to be tough. But we're Manchester City now. We're different. We've got that mentality. We're the champions. We've got to go in there with our chest out and just do what we do and get the job done.
We're going to get more from the two Steves shortly, but let's hear from our manager, Pep Guardiola.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Guardiola. So, if you have any question, could you raise your hand? Yes, please.
Hallo Pep.
Hi.
Deutsch, English, Spanish?
No problem.
Pep, we came all the way from Germany to get any updates on Kyle Walker. So can you tell us anything about him, his situation? Will he play tomorrow? Is he still your player? Will he go to Bayern Munich? And what do you think about Benjamin Pavard, the Bayern Munich right back? There are rumors about him that he could go to City, maybe in a swap deal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hear the comments from Thomas Tuchel about Kyle and said not comments. I would say the same, not comments. So what I can say is an incredibly important player for us, having specific qualities that is so difficult to find in the worldwide. We should be in his qualities, specific qualities, was irreplaceable. So we want him, yes or yes, but at the end I don't know what's going to happen. I know they are in touch, both clubs, and we will fight for him, like I'm pretty sure Bayo would do it, but I don't know how it's going to finish.
はい、ドイツからはるばる
Pavard no comment.
はるばるドイツからカイル・ウォーカーのことを聞くために来ました。バイエルンと明日試合ですけども、明日ウォーカーは試合に出ますか、それから、契約についてどうなっているかバイエルンとの分かりますか。トーマスとも話をしたんですけど、トーマスはノーコメントだということです。で、あれほどの質の選手というのは世界中探してもなかなかいないので、とても大事ですけれども、最終的にどういう決定になるかは分かりません。バイエルンとあと本人が決めることだと思いますけど、自分にはどうなるか分かりません。で、ベンジャミン・パワーについてはノーコメントです。
Hi Pep, I understand that the situation is very delicate with Kyle, but is he still in your plans for tomorrow?
Yeah, of course, he's our player, need to take form.
で、カイルとの
So there's no, so you will definitely consider playing him tomorrow and not leaving him out of the team while the situation is like this?
It's our player, so we need to play against Bayern. We need the best players, our player, and we hope he's going to stay all the season with us. So, of course, why should not play?
カイルのことはデリケートな状況だと分かるんですけども、明日は試合に出ますか。カイルは自分たちのプレーヤーですので、バイエルンに対してはベストのチームを組まなければいけないのでプレーをします。もちろんこのシーズン全部プレーをしてくれたらいいなと思ってますけども、状況どうなるか分かりません。
Next. Yeah, hi Pep. Do you know yet when the vote is going to be for the new captain, please? Now you've lost Ilkay Gundogan.
In 30, when we come back from, I think, to Manchester, or maybe 31st, when the squad will be definitive, maybe we'll choose, or maybe for. I will speak with all captains, and they will decide when.
And also, Pep, you lost Ilkay Gundogan. Obviously, a few words for him. He was an amazing servant for you, wasn't he?
What could I say? So, I've been in incredible 7 years together. I cannot words to express my gratitude to him. I wish him all the best in the challenge of his life. I think it's going to happen. I think Barcelona took an incredible player, but this life. So every one of us has family challenges, and we tried to convince him to stay. We could not. So wish him just all the best.
Sorry, which player?
Gundogan.
Gundogan.
Yeah, it's not here.
Gundogan.
Barcelona list.
Sorry, もうすでにバルセロナのリストに載っている選手についてグンディワン選手です。はい、バルセロナに移籍してしまいましたけれどもどう思いますかという質問については非常に素晴らしいプレイヤーでした。で、残念なことですけれども彼に対してはやはり幸運を祈ります。で、then the captain.
The captain, the same, the process, who will be the captain?
で誰がキャプテンになりますかという質問で同じだったんですけれども、グンドワン選手がいなくなってしまったので、それはまだ今プリシーズンですので、シーズンが始まる前に考えます。Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hi Pep. You've lost 2 assistants this summer. First of all, what are your thoughts on the assistant managers that you've lost? And is there any process in terms of replacing them? And how is it for you on this tour to not have 2 people to bounce some ideas off?
I don't know what happened with my assistant manager, so I take care of them incredibly well, and all the time they drop me. Oh, yeah, so if you want to come to the bench, I have a space now. So.
2人のアシスタントマネージャーが去ってしまったんですけれども、それはなぜですか、それから今後どうなりますかという質問なんですけれども、いつもちゃんと世話をしていたつもりなんですけども、何があったかちょっとよく分かりませんけれども、仕事が欲しかったら気がありますので、どうぞ応募してください。
No, I want to say thank you a lot to Rodo for this incredible 7 years together, and the last year for Menzo. So they were incredible part of the success that we had in the previous season, especially last season. So I wish him both, one in MLS as sport director and Enzo in Leicester, the best of them, because they deserve the best. And yeah, we are looking for to have some person to come to help us, but I have enough quality in the team, brain guys, so far it's okay.
で、今のところ、彼らがされてしまいましたけれども、これからの成功を祈ります。すみません、名前がキャッチできませんでした。で、スポーツダイレクターになったアシスタントマネージャーもいますので、これからの幸運を祈ります。
Next, over there.
Hello. Hello again. So last year in the US, we talked about your old love, Bayern Munich, and your big love, the city of Munich. So it's been 1 year, and you played 4 times. You're playing the 4th time tomorrow. So is this kind of getting regular to you, or is it still any special to play against Bayern Munich?
Of course it is. When you have been in a place like they take care of you, like they take care of me and my family, for the city, for the club, for many things. So always I'm so happy to see old friends here. Old players that there are few already, but all of them always is nice, especially in the friendly games. In Champions League it's completely different. But always is nice, so it's an incredible test for us. When you play in pre-season, the best thing is playing this such of teams, because now you see the reality in the position where you are right now, because we have the Community Shield around the corner. So of course it's really important, and always I'm so happy to play against them.
はい、バイエルン・ミュンヘン、昔の古巣ですけれども、この1年間で明日の試合が4回目になります。バイエルン・ミュンヘンと試合をするというのは定期的なものになるでしょうか、それともまだ今でも特別でしょうかという質問に関しまして、いつでも特別な経験になります。でやはり昔バイエルンにも住んでましたので、このシティに移ってからもこういう機会で昔の友達に会えるというのは非常に嬉しいことです。でこういう機会はあまりありません。やはりプレシーズンという親善試合でこういうチャンスを得るというのは大変重要です。チャンピオンリーグになるとまた話は違います。でもとても良いテストになりますし、バイエルン・ミュンヘンのレベルのチームと試合をするということは、自分たちの今の位置づけが真剣勝負の大会が来る前に分かるということで貴重です。
Hi, Mr. Guardiola. Florian Pletneck from Sky. As you perfectly know, Bayern Munich is a real number 9 team. They need a striker, and now they have the top transfer target, Harry Kane. Can you give us an opinion about your thoughts in Bayern and Harry Kane? What does it mean for the Premier League that Bayern Munich is pushing for Harry Kane? Thank you so much.
Wow, you make a question so uncomfortable for me. I don't know how it works to say how good he is. But he's a Spurs Tottenham player, so I understand Bayern always wants to take the best players in the world. So Harry Kane is one of them, and yeah. So I cannot say more. So it's not our player. So I can talk about Kyle, but about Harry Kane is not my business, so I'm sorry.
でハリー・ケーンをバイエルンが取りたいと、非常に優れたストライカーですからどう思いますかという質問に関しまして、カイルならまだしもハリー・ケーンは自分用選手でもないですので、ちょっとその質問に答えるのは答えにくいです。で、それが答えになります。自分の選手じゃないので。
Thank you. Next one and maybe last one.
Hi, just going back to the assistants. Have you got a name in mind for who would want to sit next to you this season?
Yeah, I have a list of 10 people. Yeah. And they are so expensive, so we cannot pick.
So you look.
I'm joking, eh? Yeah, I have in mind. Yeah, I have a few people, but I cannot say more.
Would Mahrez return? Would that?
He's in Qatar, so he's under contract. So.
アシスタントコーチなんですけれども、後任は決まっていますか。で今10人ぐらいのリストがいるんですけど、みんなとても高いです。これは冗談です。で何人かは決まっています。でファンマはどうですか。いやカタールで契約あるのでダメです。
Okay.
Thank you. ありがとうございました。
The Manchester City manager, Pep Guardiola, then ahead of tomorrow's game with Bayern Munich. You can watch it on City Plus and Recast. The players and the manager are now going to head out to the pitch at the Japanese National Stadium. We'll be over there with FG, Joleon, Lescott and Shaun Wright-Phillips in a moment too. But whilst we get ready for that, let's have a look back at Pep's press conference in the company of Stephen McInerney and Big Steve as well. Kyle Walker was obviously, I think, going to lead the press conference given the links that are to Bayern Munich at the minute. Pep Guardiola didn't want to give comment on that, but obviously in his answer alluded to what an important player Kyle Walker is for Manchester City.
Yeah, he's still our player, you know what I mean? I think Pep will play him tomorrow. Kyle Walker owes Manchester City nothing. You know, he's been a tremendous servant for the club. And I think it's down to Kyle's decision. Manchester City won't ever let anybody stand in the way if they want to move on. Pep Guardiola wants to keep him. You can obviously see by the body language and everything that he wants to keep him. I think it's an important week for players like Kyle, and I'm sure he'll make a decision based on his own circumstances. But I, for one, would love Kyle Walker to stay.
We saw him in action against Yokohama in the build-up to the John Stones goal, Stephen McInerney. And Pep said, wide on the right, Kyle's one of the best and the most important.
Yeah, I think he's the best at what he does in the world, if I'm being honest. I think he's showing no signs of slowing down, literally and metaphorically. You know, like he's still got electric pace and he's still obviously in incredible condition. I mean, this overlap here, I mean, that's just Kyle Walker. We've been seeing that for a decade in the Premier League, and that is just so hard to replace. I mean, I don't think there's anyone like Kyle Walker in world football, and even at his age, the experience that he brings, you just need him around the team. And I understand the potential urge to move somewhere else and get a new experience because it's a short career and he's just won so much in Manchester City. But I do hope he decides to stay because he's a world-class player still.
Yeah, he did say he's still in our plans. He is still our player. They were the comments from Pep Guardiola in his press conference. Just let us know on WhatsApp as well in relation to this next point that we're going to discuss with the Big Steves. Who do you want to see as captain for Manchester City next season? Now that Ilkay Gundogan has left, we know the club tend to pick up to 5 captains, but who's going to be the leader of the leaders, if that makes sense? Who would you like to see?
I'd love it to be Ruben Dias or probably Rodri, actually. I think he's a bit of a change, but I think Rodri has stepped up massively. I think he's, I wouldn't say quietly because you can see he's such an expressive player, but I think there's probably more of a captain in him than we maybe even realise. He's obviously got the respect of his players, and I'm quite traditional that way. I like someone in the centre of the pitch, you know, like a midfielder being a captain. It just seems to make sense, and I think he's the kind of guy who would take on a lot more as well. And I think he'd come alive with that armband, you know, like he'd revel in it a little bit. So to me, it'd be Rodri.
Here is Rodri's goal from the friendly with Yokohama at the weekend. Brilliant finish. We know what he can do. He's already doing so much in the midfield, Big Steve. Rodri having to dictate the play, carrying it from defence to attack and linking it all together. Of course, making sure he can finish like that as well. So if it wasn't Rodri, if he wanted to focus on that perhaps and his brilliant performances that he puts in, week out on the pitch, who else would you have up there as a captain?
We spoke about it before. For me, it'd be Ruben Dias. I just think he leads by example. He's got the right mentality. We've just watched him in the press conference there. You know, often captains do press conferences. He didn't look out of place. Spoke well about the club. But Rodri is a good shout. Rodri leads by example. He's one of these players that he's always fit. He's always ready to go. His performance levels are consistent every game, and that's what you want in a captain. So we're not short of captain material all through the squad. There's many players we could choose, but for me, I just think Ruben Dias, he's just got that little bit of an edge for me for a captain, so I would go with Dias.
Kyle Walker captain the side against Bayern, against Yokohama on Sunday. Pep, as I mentioned, says he's still in the plans. He still wants Kyle Walker to be part of the squad, so it wouldn't be a disaster if Kyle Walker was captain either.
No, Kyle, that could be one that sways him to stay, maybe captain's armband. I mean, you only have to watch some of the in-house Manchester City stuff in the dressing room when you can see Kyle Walker. You know, he has his moments with the team. He says a few inspirational words. Even when he's not playing, he's vocal in the dressing room. So, you know, he's getting to that age in his career where he's been there, he's seen it all, he's got the T-shirt. So Kyle Walker's another good shout. So hopefully for me, Kyle stays. And if they made Kyle Walker captain, I don't think anybody would blink at that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's earned it quite simply. The career he's had, probably the best ever Premier League right back. You know, Kyle Walker, he's a legend. He's a Manchester City legend, and I do think the squad has a real, very mature and like sensible tendency to pick players, you know, of a certain stature. I think they understand that they've earned that respect, and Kyle Walker, maybe alongside KDB, is the obvious next choice in line for the senior player that's earned the armband. And I do hope, you know, I would love it if they actually voted him in, because I think that might be enough of a reason for him to stay. Like captain Manchester City treble winners, you know, I think he'd be tempted by that.
I think he might be. The reason the captain debate is up for discussion is because the club said goodbye to Ilkay Gundogan in the summer. 7 years. Pep Guardiola said, no words to express the gratitude that I have for Ilkay Gundogan, and did try to convince him to stay.
He's going to be an important player for us.
First appearance for Ilkay Gundogan. Through Gundogan!
And it presents a chance for Sterling, who tees up Gundogan! And there's Gundogan, and Manchester City lead 3-1!
Gundogan, oh!
Ilkay is a guy who has this special quality. He doesn't feel the pressure.
Gundogan, he sat down Sanchez and he scored again.
Let's go outside, enjoy together, and let's be excited. Come on!
Gets it to Gundogan, great turn from Ilkay Gundogan, and what a goal that is!
From the start, with him, come on!
It goes to Gundogan. Gundogan!
Sterling to Gundogan, great turn from him and a great goal!
Let's go. Nice shape in his hand, absolute beauty! Ilkay Gundogan!
He pops in a bending cross, and what a chance for Ilkay Gundogan! Oh, wow! It reaches De Bruyne. De Bruyne into the penalty area.
Everyone just in awe in this studio watching that video there of Ilkay Gundogan. What a player. As Pep said, there are no words to express the gratitude and everything that he gave to Manchester City. There is a hole there, and Ilkay, there were so many important goals in the club's recent history.
I think he's finally just fully hit me. Watching that, I felt like tearing up. Like, I think it's like, obviously he's been there, and now we're actually about to be back again in a new season. And that Gundogan-shaped hole, it's massive. I mean, it's the quality of the goals as well. I mean, we know he's brilliant. We know he's a wonderful footballer, but some of those strikes, they're just absolutely insane. And as Pep said, he doesn't feel that pressure. He grew with. He feel like he grew with this club as well. You know, like he got better every single year as Manchester City got better, and a true legend. You know, a man of immense stature, an incredible person, a great leader, a man who delivered us the treble with big goals in big games. I mean, there's no more legacy you can get than what Ilkay Gundogan's done for Manchester City. You know, even if it was just the brace against United in an FA Cup final, that would have been enough to cement his legacy. But it's not that. It's the goal against Everton. It's the free kick against Brighton. It's just immense moments after immense moments, and I absolutely love him, and I already miss him immensely.
The goals are, of course, what you recognise for and what people remember the most, particularly those derby goals in the FA Cup final. They were both superb goals, Big Steve, but he offered everything to that Manchester City side.
Yeah, he arrived on crutches. Nobody knew what to expect. He left a legend. So looking back at the clips there, we were both nearly crying, me and Steve here then. But no, he's been unbelievable. What a man, what a player, you know what I mean? And the big goals you talk about, Aston Villa coming back to win the league. You know, Manchester United, 12 seconds, bang, goal, Ilkay. Everton, off the knee, spins it. You know, a lot of pressure on that game. Ilkay Gundogan turns up. And Pep Guardiola said he didn't feel pressure. He's a massive, massive loss to the dressing room and to the football club as a whole. Just the aura of Ilkay Gundogan around the place. I think people are going to miss it. We've lost these kind of players before. We always find new heroes. Let's not get too teary-eyed on Ilkay. He's gone to pastures new. He's the captain of the treble winners. He won us the European Cup, and yeah, we're going to miss him. But new heroes are ready to come.
Fun little fact for you. Part of my job is to commentate on Manchester City from time to time. Ilkay Gundogan still remains the only man to get me out of my seat during a commentary. It was the Villa goal. The Villa goal. It's the only time I've left. There's an air of professionalism in a press box until that moment.
Don't blame me for that.
How do you not get carried away in those moments? So thank you from all of us, from every Manchester City fan, Ilkay Gundogan and Pep Guardiola. Sad to see him go. He also spoke. He was asked a couple of times about his assistant manager with the likes of Rodolfo Borrell moving on in the summer. He said he did say the line, "Look, I look after these guys, and then they dump me." Questioning from Nick: how would Big Steve think he'd do sat in Pep's assistant seat?
Oh, I'd love it. I'd love it. Yeah, I'll do it for free. If you're watching Pep, you need someone to sit there, motivational speaking, talk about sharks, anything you want. No red sauce on your sandwich, all that. I'm ready for it. No, but listen. You know, as a fan, something like that, you'd love it. But these guys, he's got the best around him. There's a reason why these rival clubs come in and they offer these assistant managers jobs, because it's an elite team. You're working under the best manager in the world. And yeah, he does lose a lot of assistant managers, but that can only be a credit to Pep as being the best. And he's coaching these guys, and people are looking into it and going, look, you know, we're getting the next best thing. We're getting Pep's assistant. You only have to look around the world now. These ex-players, ex-assistants, all in top jobs, all come from Pep Guardiola, all come from that mould. So I think Pep, tongue-in-cheek there, I think he's got men coming in to replace him. But yeah, I'm up for the job, man.
When anyone ever does a tour of the Etihad Stadium, everyone wants Pep's seat, don't they, in the dugout. But if you were sat next to him, to his left-hand side, you'd take that.
We'd take that one. To be honest, the lessons you learn from that man, and I do think the best thing about Pep Guardiola as well is that I think he even just makes coaches better as well. I think it doesn't stop. Every day is a school day with Pep Guardiola, and I think people like, you know, obviously Lilo, who hopefully is coming back, but then, you know, you see Rodolfo move on. They're learning from the very best, and it's only natural that they want to go and have a chance to express themselves as well, because he's just that inspirational and that brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Enzo Maresca moving to Leicester as well, as you say, it's a compliment to how well Pep Guardiola has done as a manager, and the offers that they then get and chance to move on as well. Pep Guardiola from his dugout next season will be watching Manchester City at times in their brand new third kit. love everything about that. That trailer there, the whole Tokyo neon lights, the electric kit from Manchester City. Really sensational. Looking forward to seeing the Blues in action next season in that shirt. Still awaiting the away strip. I'm wearing the home shirt today. City will wear that third strip, by the way, against Bayern Munich tomorrow in their second pre-season friendly. You can see that on City Plus and Recast tomorrow morning. He was also asked, Pep Guardiola, in his press conference. We're going to go pitch side very shortly to watch the guys in open training about Harry Kane. Bayern Munich possibly want him. But he said he's still a Spurs player and no comment from that, but more than complimentary Pep Guardiola about Harry Kane in his press conference. There's also the link between Pep and Bayern Munich himself, isn't there, as an ex-manager. Come up against him plenty of times since being announced as the Manchester City boss. Pep said there was a bit of sentiment there, but I don't think there was too much in it. There's been a long time since he was Bayern Munich manager. Yeah, and I think it's relatively well documented that he didn't always enjoy. I think there was a lot going on in the background, at Bayern, and I think he put it this way. I think he loves Manchester City an awful lot more than Bayern. I think this is his home these days, and it still feeds into it though. Of course, there's a professional pride feeling there, and obviously he'll know people still involved at Bayern, so it's hard for him not to take it seriously because once again it's his former home. He lived there, of course, for 3 years, so yeah, it's something he'll consider, definitely. They are the scenes from inside the Japanese National Stadium. Manchester City starting their opening training session. So let's go over to Tokyo, shall we? We will join Joleon, Lescott and Shaun Wright-Phillips, two Manchester City legends, of course. They're in Tokyo alongside FG. Very good morning to you, FG.
Hello, Mike. Hello, Big Steve. Hello, Stephen McInerney. We are here in Tokyo having the time of our lives. Joining me today, Joleon, Lescott, Shaun Wright-Phillips. Before we start, we've got the new shirt, which Shaun's going to show you guys. How nice is this?
Very nice.
And just a quick question. Why haven't you got it on?
Nah, that's only a medium, bro.
Well,
they ain't got no extra larges yet.
Right.
Prototype.
The thing is, right, I'll leave the modelling to the footballers, but yeah, it was a bit tight. We've been eating a lot of carbs whilst we've been out here, haven't we? But how are you guys doing anyway, Joleon? How's life treating you so far?
Guys, treat me well. It's been a good trip, obviously. Lots of stuff to do. What a city, to be honest. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, so yeah, I've enjoyed my time.
And Shawnee, how's life treating you?
To be honest, you're on a Twitter timeout for the footage you posted of me, and I obviously posted of myself just to let people know what is happening to me on this trip. This isn't the first situation either, so Twitter timeout.
You're going to let the people know that I'm upsetting the legends, and this is not what we want.
Yeah.
It's great to have you here. Let's get straight into it. Thanks for all the guys speaking in the studio. We did see Big Steve say that he wanted to be Pep's assistant. There's only one man for the job when it comes to assistant, Steve. Let's talk about a man who did the press conference before Pep, and that was Ruben Dias. I'm going to come to you first, Joleon. Obviously, played in a similar position to you. As a leader, as an overall defender, how highly do you rate him?
Both at the highest degree in both aspects. Like as a defender, you can see his quality. But speaking to the players and having a few conversations with him, you can see he embodies that leadership role. He enjoys it. The lads respect him. He's relatively new, still pretty young as well. You know what I mean? From a defensive point of view, you would say his best years are still 3-4 years away. Do you know what I mean? So, but his leadership skills are there to see. And it's key that when you have them figures in the squad that the players respect him. So when he speaks, they listen and they respond, and you can definitely see that.
And from an attacker's point of view, Shaun, is that the centre half that you just don't want to play against someone like Ruben?
When you're an attacker, you don't think about really who you don't want to play against. You just think about what you're going to do to get past them. But I think with a defender like what Joleon was saying, like Ruben has, it makes it a lot more difficult because he can play both sides of the fence. He can be aggressive and he can be that defender that stays on his feet to frustrate that attacker and still manage to get those last tackles in and last ditch blocks in. So he's just, for me, going to get better and better.
And again, going on the question which was asked in the studio about the captaincy, we saw Ruben Dias and the side without him, and with him. The record speaks for itself, Joleon. Is he someone who's a main candidate to become the captain?
Yeah, he'll be one of them, definitely. But again, I think the way it's done now in most teams, not just here, is there's a leadership group and the players decide on who they feel should wear the armband. And it can be for various reasons, like going back to the time when I was playing, Carlos Tevez was the captain, didn't speak much, but you knew exactly what you were getting on the pitch. So leadership and the armband can be given to anyone for a variety of reasons.
And now, of course, Shaun, last season was unbelievable. We will constantly keep mentioning the treble, and I urge everybody to keep mentioning the treble because we're so proud of it. Is there some added pressure for this group of players, Shaun? Because the achievements last year were at such a high. Is now the expectation for them to go again and do it again, and the pressure just building?
I personally think when you've been winning the way City have medals throughout the last 10 years, there's always that extra added pressure coming into the new season to not go a season without winning one. Of course, winning 3 of them makes the pressure a little bit more, but it's something they're not used to. So they'll get on with it. I think they'll be prepared in the right way mentally and physically, and that they'll kick into gear. And it's going to take a lot to stop this team, especially with the new players with people that are coming into the team.
But just off the back of that, with the pressure aspect of it, there's always going to be pressure. You want the pressure because it means you're going to be competing and winning trophies. But I think it's just a little bit early to apply that pressure. I think we talk about the mental fatigue and the aspects of the game later on in the year, but I think it's time for the players now to just get physically prepared rather than having to tune in to winning quadruples, trebles. It's like, I just need to get my body right now, and then all of a sudden the game starts, and then mentally you just fine-tuning anyway.
And it was very much the case in the first game against Yokohama. We saw, obviously, it was very much a fitness thing, like you said earlier in the show. But how do you think the performance was from one man, Mateo Kovacic, who made his debut, probably the first time playing in a game with his teammates? He seemed like he settled in well.
Yeah, he settled in well. He's got quality. There are aspects of his game, or the game, should I say, that you kind of look and think, well, that's probably new. The pictures that he's seen, the familiarity of where his players are, where to receive it, where to pass it when he's in certain areas. But listen, I'm sure you'll grasp it pretty quick. He's played at some of the biggest clubs, won the biggest honours. So I don't think it'll take him long to get right into the rhythm. But again, there'll be a physical aspect of him not being right to perform at this moment in time. Like a lot of players, I think back to the game from the first half, I think John Stones probably continued the form that we've seen the back end of last season. So, but apart from that, you're looking and thinking, yeah, I expect him to be rusty, and I don't mind that because it's the first game of pre-season.
Yeah. And in that first game of pre-season, Shaun, it was all about Haaland, as it has been for a long time. But one man who people are sometimes not speaking about as much as Julian Alvarez, it's a lot more than him just being behind Erling Haaland, isn't it? He could play multiple positions and do multiple things for this team.
I don't really look at it like that, or you hear some comments that he's in the shadow of Haaland. I don't see it like that at all. At the end of the day, he's part of a team, and each one of these players last season played a role in winning the treble. So he's done what he's there to do, same as Haaland did. Of course, he would want more games, but why not be behind a striker that you can learn certain aspects of your game that another striker can't teach you? Because at the minute, Haaland's the best in the world at doing what he's doing. Julian Alvarez is still he's still young, he's still learning. Although he's done fantastically well, he can still take those little fox in the box tips from the big man. So for me, there's no better place for him to be right now.
There isn't. It doesn't seem that way. Let's look at Bayern Munich, our opponents tomorrow. Of course, an old manager who's managing the Premier League, Thomas Tuchel. Joleon, how impressed are you with him? And of course, they won the Bundesliga last year.
I'm a massive fan of his, to be honest. I think the way they play, the way he asks his teams to play, is different. I enjoy watching it. I've spoken to players that worked with him and members of staff that worked with him and said, similar to Pep, they have nothing but high praise to talk about him, and that's a big thing. I think tactically we can see how good these coaches are, but when you're speaking to individuals about their relationship with the managers, and people reference Thomas Tuchel as one of the best they've worked with in a short space of time, I was like, that's a sign of a good person. And I think that's key now. This generation, it's not just about what tactically you can do for me. It's, if I'm going to run for a brick wall, I need to respect you to a higher degree, and I think he brings that to all his teams he's managed.
It seems like he's got a lot of control. Let's talk about controlling a game, Shaun. Their first pre-season game was 27-0. I don't even do that on FIFA against Joleon. Right. It was 18-0 at half-time, but in the second half, they only scored 9, which is, I guess, a bit of a disappointment. How do you...
I don't know how that scoreline gets.
Yeah, I don't know how it's possible, or when the first goal was scored.
No one got sent off. You're telling me no one got sent off for the opposition? Look, let me help you right now. Pre-season or not, someone's getting sent off.
Yeah.
They're not all coming off that pitch healthy.
What's your biggest win in pre-season?
Biggest win? Oh, I don't know. I don't know, to be fair. But I know my last was 27. 27 in a scoreline.
It's almost like there was no defenders. It's just like they just play with a midfield line.
Should be no players.
So that is a game to try and benefit you for fitness, right? You're 27-0 up. Are you putting in as much? Obviously,
they are. Obviously, they are. If they're getting to 15 and still want another 30, 14 goals, like the mentality of that team should prove. Right. And that's what Pep would want. I mean, who was it a few years ago in the FA Cup? Over the two legs, or Burton, or the League Cup, when it was like 9-0, and you can see the lads running out to get throw-ins and thinking, we just want to continue to play and probe and do what we're asked to do. So, yeah, it shows a mentality of the Bayern team, but also you got to pick better fixtures than someone that you can beat 27.
27-0 is not ideal, but I'll tell you what is ideal: the signing of Kim Min-jae. Absolutely unbelievable last year for Napoli. He seems like a Thomas Tuchel-like defender. Joleon, obviously. What are your thoughts on him? We saw him a lot in the UCL. We saw him a lot do really well for Napoli last year. Yeah,
obviously a top player. There was other teams in England, Premier League, trying to acquire him as well. So obviously the draw for Bayern was a huge one for him, and I'm sure he'll do well. Like you said, he's a good player. He can defend solidly, but he also can play. Thomas Tuchel prides himself in possession, sets his team up very strongly out of possession, but wants the ball, wants to dictate possession and the tempo of the game. So if you can add to that, they'll be a force, because I think that's one of the areas they probably struggled in against us last season. If we look back to the Champions League fixture, I think the physical presence of Haaland against relatively people his own age, it kind of showed them up a little bit. So I'm sure they looked at that and thought, yeah, we need to acquire some more experience.
And finally, Shaun, before we head back, how do you see the game going tomorrow? Just very much a case of fitness or a City win?
Like Joleon said, we're still a little bit rusty. We're still trying to get into our stride and get that fine-tunings before the season starts. It will only be the second game. And I just hope for everybody, especially the fans here and the fans that will be watching on the stream, on obviously City Plus, that it's just as exciting. I think the results isn't that important right now. It's more about getting the things right that are meant to get right to take you on to win things that we did last year.
I am so happy you've just plugged City Plus and Recast. Shaun Wright-Phillips, everybody. We're going to head back to the studio now. I'm going to go and find a shirt that fits me so they can stop laughing at me, and we're going to go and enjoy our evening. See you guys in the studio soon, and everyone watching at home. See you tomorrow.
Shaun, Joleon, FG, thank you so much for that. Enjoy wearing the new shirt. It looks sharp. City going through their open training session ahead of Bayern Munich tomorrow. To Stephen McInerney. Big Steve, where are you going to be watching tomorrow?
City Plus, yeah. I'm going to take the morning off work and do some work at home. Well, I won't be working at home. We're watching a match. But
working from home, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it and seeing how we do against Bayern Munich. Yeah, I can't wait.
Your job is practically to watch City anyway.
Exactly, yeah. I'll be watching it via Recast, actually. So there we go. So, yeah, absolutely the same.
Perfect. They've done all my plugs for me. Manchester City against Bayern Munich. You can join Natalie Pike, Shaun Goater and Steve Howie tomorrow for the game. Second pre-season friendly on our Asia tour. City against Bayern Munich. As everybody said in the last 2 minutes, it's on City Plus and Recast. Looking forward to it. See you tomorrow.
Back heel, walk around the back, middle turn, Alvarez, laid off, Stones, City back in it. The prolific John Stones. Rodri, maybe a shooting chance, tries it, scores! Rodri with an absolute peach!
Kevin De Bruyne! Manchester City take the lead!